All right, now, hey, how about this story? We've never seen this one before. His gun just went off. Guard says that his SIG P320 fired unexpectedly at USAA guard gate. Now, I saw this in the Discord because somebody shared it there. I clipped it like right away. I edited it down. And what's super funny is everybody just posted my footage of it. So like Ben just literally screen recorded my recording of it and then put it on his Instagram and YouTube. But I have the original, okay? I did the editing for it. I just find it funny. It's just funny that everybody like literally just screen recorded my editing of the clips to use without credit, by the way. Oh, I'm so angry. Not that it was my footage to begin with, right? But it's just funny that it's
on Twitter.
Dude, he's so funny.
So funny.
Some of it's so bad, dude. I'm just like, it's not boomer tier. It's like Gen X. Sometimes the responses to like women, and he ratioed that girl, by the way, on that girl was saying, look at what women have to deal with. What do men have to deal with? And he just responds, women.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, classic.
I had a similar, like one of my most liked tweets was something similar. I think Carl Benjamin from Sargon Makad posted like about, I think it was during it was like, no, some lady posted if men didn't exist, what would women need men to protect them from? And I said other women.
Literally anything anything heavier than 25 pounds. How about that?
Yeah. What do you, if men didn't, yeah, never mind, sorry.
Yeah.
I've uncovered
be a whole stream
after a case of 6-hour P320s allegedly firing without a trigger pull. Now another incident, this time at USAA's Guard Gate 4 in San Antonio. It was a routine shift. A security officer stepped.
Worry not, we will get to the close-ups and the intense dissection of the footage, and we will give you the truth that 6 hours hiding from you, okay?
Out of the guard shack, and suddenly his pistol explodes against the concrete. Another uncommanded discharge, and more concerns about a weapon trusted by millions. This is security.
By the way, that trusted by millions number changes on the daily. All right. It's been trending in the downwards direction. Let's just say that. All right. It used to be a lot more.
Gate 4 at the USAA campus in San Antonio on March 18th, 2025. Watch closely as the security officer steps out of the guard station. Here it is again.
One of my coworkers, Chuck Soros, came out of the guard shack. And immediately as he exited the guard shack, his gun just went off.
Officer Chuck Searle's service pistol discharged. You can see the concrete explode as the bullet hits the sidewalk. What was your first reaction to that?
We didn't know what happened.
Matthew Gill was one of the security guards on duty that day.
All right, here we go. Now, I know my chat is kind of biased, let's say, all right? But I'm going to say, trust the P320, yes or no? Just to kind of gauge my audience. Now, I know my audience is a little rough, but we'll just say trust the P320. Yes or no?
And before you guys vote on that poll, I just want you to see one thing.
Testicular torsion!
Well, he's very lucky. He's very lucky because there have been 2 incidents at this facility. One of them, the man did get shot through his leg. Not on this one, though. Just concrete, some shrapnel, some other stuff, but nobody actually got seriously hurt.
I had a burning sensation on his arm, and I had a burning sensation on my face. And when I pulled out whatever was there, it was metal. It was a shrapnel.
Gill says their USAA-issued service pistols are 6-hour P320s. He says Officer Searle's P320 went off without a trigger pull.
Officer Searle said that, man, my gun just went off. And he was like just freaking out, like hands up in the air, and you know, we were just dumbfounded. We didn't know what to do.
Why are they all just standing around? Like, are they? I feel like if a gun gets shot, even like if it's your buddy over there, you would go check your buddy or be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, what just happened? Did you just pull the trigger? Are you an idiot? Like, did somebody shoot at you? What's going on? Right? Like, I figure like there should be some more motion going on, right? Can these white boys get some more motion, or actually these ethnically diverse group of people? Yeah, well, I think there's only one white person there. Can the ethnically diverse gate guards get some motion going on here? Try and figure out what just happened.
You would think, but I've worked in the private security industry.
Yeah, they're
like, oh, okay.
Gill says he was warned about the 6 hours.
It's like a shot goes off, they all instantly go into shock and just start like moseying about. It's like the most worthless security of all time.
No, it's the industry's like that. Genuinely, for private security, it's bad.
These guys probably work at a school.
The skill ceiling, what the skill floor. All right, it's not a floor, it's a basement, bro.
Yeah, it's a
Our
bottomless pit.
P320 because of a previous incident.
It was mentioned to
Or
me
with
when
a bullet
I
hole
first
in it.
got on board USAA that Officer Jones in 2021, his firearm went off and it shot him in the leg.
And Gill says there was a third incident over the summer.
That happened on September 26th on a Friday at the firing range. On the same day, they changed out their holsters.
Gill says he tried to raise alarm bells with USAA about the 6 Sauer P320 and the numerous reports of the P320 going off out of the blue. Over the last year, I have tracked 3 incidents in Texas where officers say their P320s went off without a trigger pull. One in LaGrange, Marble Falls, and Houston. Gill says USAA fired him for speaking out about the pistol. USAA did.
So that guard, that guard, right, is alleging that he got fired for talking bad about the P320, right? Which is, if true, incredibly scummy, scummy. If true, right? We don't know if he could have been a bad gate guard. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. The 3 of them didn't look particularly competent in that, but I'm not saying that they should be fired, but maybe there were some extenuating circumstances at the reason for his forceful exit of the company.
Oh, I'm not going to opine on that. It's just insane to me that there's no way the security forces for USA are big enough that 3 uncommanded discharges from the same model of pistol is not the brightest red flag.
Just a bit. Just a little bit of an issue, you could say, within it's 1 per year. We only have 1 accidental discharge per year.
They can't have more than 100 staff, armed staff, for their campuses. If they do, that's an enormous amount for a private company.
Well over that.
Well, no, it was 3 different officers as well. It was confirmed 3 different officers.
This isn't like the Air Force, right, where there's thousands and thousands and thousands, or other branches of the military where an uncommanded discharge here that probably isn't as crazy. Like this has to be a small security force, in-house security force. So yeah, this after the first is crazy. The second, they should have been gone.
Yeah, and I like that it happened on the range day while they're switching out their holsters too. I find that's just kind of comical. I mean, again though, I'm not going to say anything about the other discharges because we don't have those on video, right? So incompetent gate guards, police officers, that can explain like 99% of these issues. However, the one that we have on video, kind of damning, which we'll get into.
Gill's employment, but they did give me a statement regarding the March incident and the incident under investigation at the shooting range, saying, quote, "We have no greater priority than the safety of our employees."
Corporate speak, yeah.
To say 2 weapons that were unintentionally discharged were thoroughly assessed by the weapon manufacturer, a forensics lab, and USAA, and no evidence of a mechanical failure was found in either instance. I also contacted Sig Sauer. They told me Sig Sauer stands behind USAA's assertion that...
I'll have you know that I watched, what was the Andy Griffith show? My parents were into old TV shows. So growing up, I watched the Andy Griffith show, Don Knotts, Barney Fife. I got that little kid. He became a director. What's his name? Redheaded kid. Anyways, no, I watched that show growing up, Rads, okay? I might not be your age, but I'm cultured, all right?
No mechanical failure was found with the P320, and that there was no indication of a weapon malfunction. Sig Sauer maintains that the P320 can only fire when the trigger is pulled. We will continue to support USAA in their mission to keep their employees safe and secure.
I would say this is another case of a corporate entity like USAA taking the word of SIG or being kind of cajoled by SIG into determining that it was user error.
Attorney Jeff Bagnell says he saw the videos of the P320 discharges from 2021 and 2025.
I think they both fired without a trigger pull. Having seen the videos, knowing the history of this gun, having litigated these cases for 10 years, it's highly unlikely that both of these officers, or all 3 of them, in fact, pulled the trigger while this gun was fully holstered.
And Bagnell says these unintended discharges keep happening.
We now know there's been over 400 incidents of the P320 discharging without a trigger pull around the country. I think we're in.
So when you Google Jeff Bagnell, the attorney here, his link, Bagnell Law, is literally Jeff Bagnell SIG P320 litigation. That is this guy's job.
46 states now.
How would you feel as a gun manufacturer if you had a lawyer that existed solely to litigate cases of your gun accidentally going off?
I feel so bad, dude.
Again, I can't blame SIG for all of the SIG incidents. Of course not. There's going to be a
not
lot of user error, a lot of people lying to cover their butts and whatnot. But it's just funny, all right, that it's gotten to the point where there are attorneys that are literally marketing themselves as a SIG P320 litigation company.
Well, how many SIG P320 litigations have there been on the SIG side, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, how many lawyers do they employ?
Oh, well, I mean, they have a full legal team, just like any big major company would. Because I mean, think about all the contracts they have and all the civil
I'm
and
not talking for
federal
the-
litigation.
I'm not talking for like contract law. I'm talking for like negligence.
I mean, I'm sure they have a full legal team. So I don't know the number of lawyers they have, but I'm sure it is a full legal team that they have if they don't employ some, third-party firm, if they have their own internal lawyers or not. I'm not privy to that, but I know they have a lot because they're involved in a lot of cases.
And that kind of geographic distribution, it's just not credible to claim that that's user error.
Bagnell says
Why
most
does
of
he
these
sound like
incidents.
vintage?
So was that?
Why does he sound?
He
like
does sound a
vintage?
little
They
bit
have
like
Very
vintage.
similar voices.
Now, this one here was always interesting to me because the responding officer in this Texas case comes and pulls the gun out of his holster after it has shot the gentleman in the leg. So the SIG position would have to be either he had the gun out, shot himself, and then put the gun back in the holster, or a foreign object, right? That's the only two options. Either the guy intentionally or accidentally pulled the trigger, but did pull the trigger and then reholstered the gun, or some sort of foreign object which simply, appeared out of the ether, pulled the trigger, and then disappeared back into the ether, right? That we just don't know about. But when the other officer shows up and physically removes the gun from his holster, like, did he reholster after accidentally shooting himself? Was there an object? Like, you have to construct some other alternative to mechanical failure.
Well, if the holster, they're blaming the holster.
Well, but the holster didn't pull the trigger, though. Some object did, right? The holster might have allowed them to pull the trigger, but the object did. So, like, what object in this shot pulled the trigger? Like, because you'd have to say, well, it was his key ring. It's like, do you see a key ring in this? No. Well, it was a pencil. Do you see a pencil in this? And it's like, no. Well, it was, you, if you're trying to defend a SIG, have to insert something that you cannot see into this scenario to say that that's what caused this, right? Whereas if you take the side of, oh, the SIG P320 just kind of went off on its own, all you have to say is, well, it kind of just went off on its own because they kind of have a reputation for doing that, whether or not that's earned or not, but that's the reputation that they have.
Experienced at handling weapons.
Oh, don't kill me, YouTube.
Several police departments around Texas have pulled the Sig Sauer P320 from service.
A lot of officers are too afraid to speak up because they're afraid to be retaliated against.
Now, Gil hopes USAA replaces the P320 with a new service weapon, so his former colleagues at Gate 4 won't have to wonder if they're next.
Fix it. I mean, it's a good weapon, but it's faulty. There's a fault there somewhere.
Switch to the RXM. You can get it for cheaper.
Yeah. So this is right here. Now we're going to actually just get into the video and watch it over and over and over again. This is the frame before the gun goes off. All right. So you can see this is very blurry footage. So this is just based off of what we have. You can see all or part of the grip. So his hand is either on the grip towards the back or slightly behind it on the belt. Either way, it looks like it is making contact with the grip.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, it looks like he's touching the gun, I would say. That's what it looks like. It's possible that the pixel density is just too low, and so the way it's resolving it, it looks like his hand is further back than it actually is. That could be possible. Now, if you were going to say, what about things that could have also pulled the trigger? He has his key card in front, which seems like it's a long ways away from the trigger pull. There, maybe he has his keys right behind the gun. It's possible that they're just out of frame. And as he touches the back of the gun, one of the keys that happens to be in his holster, this is just my speculation, pulls the trigger accidentally, right? So you touch your belt that happens to have your keys that happen to be right next to your trigger, pulls the trigger in your holster. Theoretical possibility. And then should I pull up? I'm going to get the raw footage because I have the raw footage somewhere around here and we will look at that instead. Here we go. Gate 21. So here is my edit of the footage, slowed down, zoomed in so we can kind of see it over and over again.
6-hour P320.
So this one is kind of important as well so we can tell what position his hand is in. And can I go frame by frame on this? No, it won't let me go frame by frame. So right there. So you can tell his hand is around the gun. It's touching the gun towards the back. You don't see anything on the front side of his body at all. So again, it looks like he's touching the gun, touching the back of his belt. His hand is somewhere in that region.
P320s allegedly firing without a...
Okay. Now this is the big one, right? So we see his hand exactly before. His arm is behind. It looks like you can see a good amount of the grip. That is either all or most of the grip is what that looks like.
Trigger pull. Now.
And then the gun goes off, right? So let's see if we can get the exact... Right there. The gun has gone off. You can see the slide jumped, the holster jumped. Now, if you're saying that
it doesn't look like his trigger finger, as best we can see, ever enters anywhere near the trigger.
Right. I mean, it doesn't look like his hand moves at all. It looks like his hand is on the back of the gun. Yeah. He might be applying downward pressure, which causes the frame and the slide to move a little bit. He might be just resting his hand on the back. Like I rest my hands on my guns when I'm shooting, when I'm dry firing, all the time.
Security, yeah.
All all the time. You're walking around, you're pacing targets, you're doing whatever it is. You're thinking about what you're doing next. You put your hand on the gun, kind of like getting ready, like, okay, what am I going to do when I'm out shooting or whatnot? Happens all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, with most handguns, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do basically anything you want to that firearm and it's not going to go off other than pull the trigger. And again, it looks like he's applying, the best that it looks like right now is that it looks like he is applying downward pressure to the back of the gun. That's what it looks like. So again, if you are the SIG defender in this case, you have to manufacture another object or something that pulled the trigger. So you could go with maybe he had the keys sitting right behind the gun. So we can't see them because they're on his belt right behind the gun. And as he pressed down on the gun, there was some sort of obstruction in the trigger guard that then pulled the trigger. You could make that claim. That's possible. Now, I would be interested to know if these were manual safety guns. Was the safety engaged? Because if they pulled it out of the holster and the safety was on, that'd be pretty much a dead giveaway. Pretty much a dead giveaway. If it was a safety model that they did not fire the gun, or that the trigger was not pulled if the safety was on.
Trigger pull. Now another incident, this time at USAA's Guard Gate 4 in San Antonio. It was a routine shift. A security officer steps out of the guard shack and suddenly his pistol explodes against the concrete. Another uncommanded discharge and more concerns about a weapon trusted by millions.
This is Security Gate 4 at the USAA campus in San Antonio on March 18th, 2025. Watch closely as the security officer steps out of the guard station. Here it is again.
So, I mean, I'm going to play this one more time, but I want to get the chat's opinion on this as well. So, it has now gone up. It has jumped to 90% distrust of the P320. So, just based off of what you have seen in this video, and I'm going to let it run one more time. Did the P320 go off on its own? Based off of what you see in this footage, based off of all of the available footage that you see right this second, what do you guys think? And we'll let this play one more time.
A case of 6-hour P320s allegedly firing without a trigger pull. Now another incident, this time at USAA's Guard Gate 4 in San Antonio. It was a routine shift. A security officer steps out of the guard shack and suddenly his pistol explodes against the concrete. Another uncommanded discharge and more concerns about a weapon trusted by millions.
This is Security Gate 4 at the USAA campus in San Antonio on March 18th, 2025. Watch closely as the security officer steps out of the guard station. Here it is again.
Right? I mean, if you're going to go with that, there's some other object that pulled the trigger while he applied downward force, that is theoretically possible, right? And that's the thing. I would like, once when these incidents happen, if these guards were relatively intelligent, don't take the gun out, don't touch it, take pictures of the officer in his full kit, of his belt, of everything, with the gun still in its holster. Take pictures of it. If there's a safety on, don't touch it. If the safety's off, don't touch it. Take pictures of everything as it is right after this happened, right? Now, these guys aren't thinking like I would, obviously, because me, I'm like, oh, it happened. Like, dude, I'm going to take every picture I can possible. And I'm going to see, I want it to be as static, as untouched as possible, so that like investigators and people who actually know what they're looking at when they look at the internals of these things can figure out what exactly happened. Because it could be that maybe there's a keychain right behind that gun that we don't see. Now, I'm making that up right now inside my mind, but it is theoretically possible. And I wonder if Phil Strader would pull out the defense, because they did mention that they just switched out holsters for these guns as well. That should theoretically stop this from happening, because this was in March of this year, May of this year. So a few months ago that we finally got this footage. Now, some additional info that I have is somebody who may or may not work there fed me, Chuck Searles, who is this guy right here, and Matthew Gill, who was the previous incident. Both of them are not with the company anymore. So they either got fired or left. Now, Matthew Gill caught a bullet, whereas Chuck Searles, as you see here, just ended up leaving the company or getting fired. Nobody there, none of the guards like carrying the 320. They are forced to. They are not allowed to switch guns. They're not allowed to carry something else. And some of them have decided to carry without a round in the chamber.
I don't blame them.
Which again is not protocol. That is not protocol for the guards to carry without a round in the chamber. But that is some of these people's personal choice after this, because the
user manual states that's how you're supposed to carry it now.
Right, of course, but that's the COAA type thing. But for these guys, they're supposed to be. It's protocol to carry with one in the chamber, of course. You know, you're a guard. You need to be ready at a moment's notice. But yeah, they decided to, they don't like carrying it. They can't carry their Glocks. They can't carry anything else. It has to be the P320. It has to be in these approved holsters. And so they've just decided to not carry with a round in the chamber. Has it actually been 225 days since it ended? I mean, it is Ron Cohen, so it is just Israeli condition, IDF condition. Propaganda, that's what it is. It's been a long time. It's getting close to a year.